Welcome to Trestle Tactics, a tips from Trestle short. We wanted to know what's going to make our podcasts more valuable to you. And the answers were simple. You want easy to implement tactics and strategies that will let you create an outstanding experience around your senior living food and hospitality programming. So let's dive in right now on today's Trestle Tactics. On today's Trestle Tactics, I want to talk about customer service and a concept that I think we can all wrap our heads around. This concept is simply everyone is always on stage. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're familiar with Disney and their approach to customer service and hospitality, it's very simple. Everyone is always on stage, regardless of your role. If you are in front of a customer, you are performing. You are putting on the best service experience for them that you possibly can. So how do we do this? Well, we do this by creating a culture of customer loyalty. And I think this is really important, especially in senior living, when we think about we have the same guests, the same customers over and over, day in and day out. So in order to be successful, to keep them happy in this new setting that they're living in with us, we got to have this culture where we want to always keep them loyal to us. And there are really 5 things that I think we can do. They're very simple, but very impactful, that will allow us to create this culture of customer loyalty and really let our residents and guests and family members embrace us. The first, using a warm and friendly greeting. I always talk about this concept of leaving it at the door. You want to make sure that even if you're having an off day, try and bring it with a smile. Look at a mirror, make a smile, tell yourself you're ready to go. Whatever it takes to get you in that mindset that you can be warm and friendly whenever you encounter somebody, whether it's a coworker, a supervisor, a vendor, or even a resident or a family member. They want to have that warm and friendly greeting. And if you make it part of your routine, that's the first thing that they'll notice every single time. The second thing is know a customer's name and use it frequently. Now, this is important in senior living, and I think we get caught up in the formality sometime of we always want to use our proper Mr. Jones or Mrs. Smith. In some settings, that's appropriate. But once we get to know our customers and we get to know them well, they may want us to use a different name, or they may even have a nickname that they prefer. Use that name. If your company wants you to use the more formal approach, you might be missing out on a huge opportunity to create that customer loyalty that really gets every resident to buy into what you're doing and how often they want to engage with you. And by using it frequently, it really engages that resident, that person that we're talking to, and it makes them feel good. Think about how it is when you're talking to somebody and they say your name. That feeling is what we're trying to embed in our culture of customer loyalty. Third, make them feel valued. So we can have a lot of instances where in senior living, sometimes our residents and our family members may feel second best or second place to whatever's happening in the room or to the resident next door to us. We want to make everybody feel valued. So think of ways that we can do that. The devil is in the details, as they say. So whatever we can do to make a person feel valued will help us build that customer loyalty culture and will allow our residents and families and any person walking into our community to really embrace us. Fourth, we want to genuinely care about them as an individual. Now, this can be hard. There are a lot of personality conflicts that come up in relationships, especially when we think about 75 to 100 people any given day in a senior living community interacting. But the key here is to think this person has abilities and attributes that they can contribute to our overall community as a whole. What is that? And let's get them to bring that out, and let's care about what they can do in that instance. What's their purpose? What's their value? Let's care about that for them, even if it's somebody we disagree with. And then lastly, we want to exceed expectations and anticipate and meet needs. So we talk about over-promising and under-delivering in senior living so very often, and I wish we didn't have to. But this is how we build customer loyalty. So what I would tell you is you need to flip that script and you need to under-promise and over-deliver every single time. You're better off telling someone that, hey, I'm going to give you a B level service or a B plus level service, and then knock it out of the park with that A minus service. It'll wow them every single time, and it'll really push you over the top. The other thing is anticipating and meeting those needs. Once you get to really know your customer and get to understand them, you'll be able to kind of know what their daily and weekly needs are going to be, right? So let's anticipate those. There's a difference between presetting iced tea on a table versus we know Mr. Jones likes his sweet tea, or we know he likes it with 2 Splendas. We want to serve it to him when he sits down. But let's bring those 2 Splendas when he sits down and we serve him. Those are the kinds of things that are really going to be impactful and are really going to push this culture of customer loyalty. So take these 5 things and remember that regardless of your position or role in the community, you are always on stage when it comes to customer service. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Trestle Tactics. Be sure to like and subscribe on any of our channels, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to us. Also, be sure to follow us on any of your social media channels at Tips from Trestle. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Trestle Tactics.